Hey, good morning, you guys. It's Teresa. It has been a long time since I've done a video inside in my kitchen, looking outside at the birds, because I'm usually out there. I will be going out there, and I've already gone out there with my dog. I've taken a walk, and I just felt the need to come on and say, hey, I'm chopping up some fruit right now. I've got some blueberries and some strawberries that I'm putting together. And I just made breakfast for my daughter and myself. She's gone off to work. And we love to have scrambled eggs with this vegan mozzarella cheese that Trader Joe's makes. And we add arugula to the hot eggs, the hot scrambled eggs. If you have not tried arugula in your eggs or your hot pasta, you don't cook it. When you're plating your pasta and your eggs, that's when you put your arugula in, and the heat will soften it, wilt it. And it is a peppery, tangy vegetable or plant that is just insane. And if you haven't tried it, you should. My message today is to talk about our own limiting beliefs. That, after all, is what holds us back, correct? Nothing in this life can hold you back more than how you feel about yourself, your own self-limiting beliefs. Correct? Think about it. From worrying about your neighbors, people that you work with, say here, on my YouTube channel. And welcome to my channel, by the way, Be Your Own Force of Nature. I am a novice. No, I am not an expert. I don't edit my videos. I don't have, music coming in or a big title when I come on. Maybe someday I will have that. But for now, I feel like it speaks for itself, the message that I have for the day and my title of Be Your Own Force of Nature. So there you go. What does that mean to you, to be your own force of nature? Like I'm talking about right now, your limiting beliefs. Worrying about what everyone out there, or, even people in your own family, how they see you, what they think about you, what they have to say. Let them say it. Let them think it. Be who you are. There's a hummingbird out my window. I wish you could see it. I begin and end every day with this window. And in fact, my YouTube channel is set around me to bird sounds. In the background, I'm listening to a B.G. Adair playing a tribute to Tony Bennett music. I love classical music. I love all kinds of music, but I love soft music when I'm doing a video or when I'm looking at the birds, or I just like the music of the birds themselves. Anyway, I digress. We are what holds ourselves back. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and cut up my fruit as I'm talking to you. It's just fruit in a bowl. I'm not adding anything to it. This is for all of us to partake when we're watching TV, when we have breakfast, when we're whatever we're doing, we've got fruit to grab. Yes, we do have chips once in a while. We're not, but every little bit helps. Whatever you decide to do, you do you. Anyway, and this morning, to help me relax, I'm using my lavender oil. Yes, I still use my oils, though I don't talk about them all the time. That's another thing. Okay, let me talk about social media. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. Social media has become the norm. It's how everyone does their business. People see something great and they go for it, right? I did the Instagram thing for the longest time, doing the dance, celebrating my oils. Well, I feel like I've done that. And yeah, I do it every single day. In fact, I told you the other day, I attribute a lot of my success and my awakening to these oils because they are natural. They come from the earth. They don't have to prove anything to me other than the fact that they exist. And they have properties and abilities that are natural that will help you. And lavender is extremely calming and relaxing. I use it on my face when I put my coconut oil on in the mornings. I use it behind my ears. At night when I sleep, I put it on my finger or a Q-tip and run it around my ears. I do wear hearing aids so that I can hear you guys, but it doesn't interfere with those. And put it on the bottom of my feet. Anything, anywhere you want to put it. I even put it on my lips this morning. And that is another beautiful thing about these oils. They're non-toxic. They're absolutely pure. And if you ingest it in your body, it's not going to hurt you. Anyway, so we are held back by our own beliefs. How we see ourselves, what we believe about ourselves, which leads me to my story that I keep talking about, my life path, and what has gotten me here to being my own force of nature. There was a time when I was so afraid to be me. So much so that I allowed my marriage to define me. I allowed this person that I was married to, I'm sorry, I was shouting. I'm very impassioned this morning. When I am impassioned, I start to speak loudly. I allowed this person to squelch my voice, my thoughts, the way I lived, how I did things. And it's happened over time. And I will say, people in abusive relationships will tend to become smaller and smaller and withdraw. And it happens before you know it. And this slowly happened to me. I lost my voice. I lost my identity. I lost who I was. My husband, my former husband, was extremely controlling. I mean, in every area of our lives, in every aspect of our lives. Our kids, what they did. I mean, there's a difference when you love someone than when you control them. And he was also of that do as I say, not as I do. I don't even need to elaborate on that. But the controlling, and pretty soon you become fearful and you start to tell yourself, what did my mother used to say, which is brilliant? I don't want to hear the word can't in your vocabulary. There you go. Right in with your limiting beliefs. But I can't do that. I don't think I can. What makes you think I can do that? Well, I can't do that. I mean, yes, you can. You can do anything you want, and you have every right to do what you want. And anyone out there they're just the peanut gallery. They're just making noise. And they have no right to tell you what you can and cannot do. And, look at people. and listen to people. And you can see the ones who are coming from their authentic selves, and those who are just going along like a little, for lack of a better word, zombie. And a very humongous example of this whole crisis, this whole thing that we do to ourselves, our limiting beliefs, is the whole last COVID thing. The way it got extremely out of control. I'm not saying that people didn't get sick. Yes, they got sick. And it is a true thing. But think about how you live your life. Furthermore, what we think up here, what we start to vibrate with our thoughts and with our words, and what flows out into the universe, it has an effect on yourself and everyone in your path. And after a while, it affects the whole world. It becomes a life. Remember the Seinfeld about the smelly car? When Jerry talked about that smell in his car, he called it the beast. It has a mind of its own. Well, that's what happens when we start to speak negative thoughts, when we start speaking fear, putting fear into action, and putting fear behind our words, and allowing fear to dictate our lives and drive our lives. Well, to use me as an example, I allowed fear to destroy me. And, well, I wouldn't say destroy because I wouldn't be here. But I allowed it to cripple me. I allowed it to take me over. And it was as if there was a dark cloud over my life, over my home, over my marriage, over, everything in my path. And I allowed my former husband to have a power over me that he did not deserve. And so people will see people in abusive relationships and say, well, why don't they just leave? Well, why don't they do something about it? Well, I would just get out of there. Well, until you are in that position, you can't say that. You are not that person. It's a crippling thing that happens to people. And it happened to me. And I allowed this person to nearly destroy me. And I always give credit to my children and thank the divine every day, as I will and still do every day, for my children, and say they saved my life, because they did. Because of them, I had something and someone to keep me busy and throw my love and my passions and my authentic self into. It was my babies. And I love them with every fiber of my being. I became a yard duty at their school. I continued there for 15 years because I love children in general. And I can see how a child behaves, and it will tell me how they are treated at home, when they're not at school. It's very telling in your environment. You start to see people who are for who they really are. And so you are. I need to get a drink. That's what happens when I talk a lot. I have a lot to say. But this story needs to come out. I've been writing a book since I was 13 years old about my life. Grew up in the South. But this particular book will be a memoir. And it'll be when I decided to go on the other side of fear, to be courageous enough to stand up and take control of my life and do something about my situation. And say, enough is enough. No more. I'm not doing this anymore. I am a person. I have thoughts, desires, feelings of my own. And so I threw myself into my children. Yes, I'm still writing my book since I'm speaking to you. But I took care of my children. I took care of the kids at school. And pretty soon, I was able to disengage. And it's just standing up and throwing caution to the wind and being determined to say, I don't care. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where I'm going to land. But I know this much. I am not happy. I am no longer going to allow this life that I'm living to dictate who I really am. And I asked for a divorce, and I just kept going. And like I keep telling you guys, yes, we lost everything, but they're just things. What I'm going to tell you is that I'm still standing. My children are still standing. We are roommates. We live together. We love and support and care for each other. We're still living together. And it took us 10 months for us to heal and for the divine to work with us and orchestrate a possibility for us to have a place where we could put both feet on the ground and roll out the rest of our lives. And I mean, my heart goes out to homeless people in the regard that I realize some people cannot help their situation. Whether it be a mental thing that they're going through, or, yes, it boils down to money, but there's a lot of times I've met homeless people where you could literally hand them money and they're not capable. So, there again, what I'm saying is you need a place to, number one, have water hit you on the top of your head, a nice hot shower, a nice cup of coffee, or a bowl of soup, or a cup of soup, and someplace decent to sit down and gather your thoughts, to be able to think straight, to have your wits about you. And that's what the divine finally orchestrated for us. As to what we did for those 10 months, we were this close to carring it, living in my car. First of all, I say we lost everything. We had to throw away more than half of our lives, meaning our things. And at the time it killed us. But now where I'm standing, I say they're just things. Out of sight, out of mind. They're just objects. They don't define you. But we got to stay reluctantly with my stepfather. He allowed us to live in my mother's house for barely 3 months. And he also charged us $1,000 a month. I didn't have any money to do that. And basically I just told him, you'll get your money when I have it. I don't have it. This was my mother's house that she worked hard to buy. That he stood in front of me and spit in my face and told me, this is my house. I don't want you here. But for whatever reason, he opened his door. I was able to take my 2 dogs, but I could not take my cats. Nearly lost my animals because of it. And I managed to save up enough money and get out of his house. And I thought, we will live in a motel before we endure this anymore. Talk about controlling, I hate to use the word narcissist, verbally abusive person that was married to my mother. My mom has died. She has passed. She suddenly passed in 2007. That was a nightmare for me. But that's what gave this man the ability to steamroll. As soon as she was gone, he became his true self. Anyway, so details for the book later. We got out of there. I still had to go to work every day. My kids had to go to school. My son was working. My daughter was still in school. She was graduating. But it was a nightmare. But we made it. We are still together. You just have to, your desire to be must be more powerful than what you are going through. Your courage must be strong, and you just have to just go for it, or you can allow fear to swallow you whole, which we were determined to not allow. So when I say we didn't have the money, we really didn't. During the divorce, I got half of his savings. But let me tell you something. Divorce is not fun. And if anybody tries to tell you otherwise, it could be true in their case, depending on how much money is involved. If you look at money as a tangible thing and not a vibrational thing, which it is, if people have a ton of money and can afford to be off the streets or be in a nice comfy place, as I said, to have their wits about them, to have their coffee and their soup in their shower and be able to think, that's one thing. But when you don't have that money, you're stuck until the courts give it to you. It takes a while for these things to process. So it took us, you guys, it took 6 months to get this money. And it wasn't that much money, let me tell you. And when you have to start over because you don't have a bed to sleep in, you don't have a chair to sit on, and you don't have food to eat, you've got to spend your money. Okay? Don't let anybody get into your business and tell you, you should have done this and you should have done that. You keep going. You remain strong with the divine, and you do what you have to do. And that's what my kids and I did. We left his house, and we did it one day when he was gone. We got a room at the local motel, and we slowly started taking what little bit we had and got the dogs in first. They accepted animals, otherwise we wouldn't have been there. My poor cats had to stay in a kennel. That cost money, but we were lucky on that one. God took care of that, but they were safe. But let me tell you something, it affected us, it affected our animals, and I truly believe that's why my dog is gone today. My dog, my beautiful big golden retriever keeper, because he kept up the good fight for us, and it took him. God bless his heart. But we got out of there. And we made it. We stayed in the hotel, or motel. Hotel, think hotel big, motel small. A little motel that you can drive through. So, limiting beliefs, fear will hold you back. If you let it, it doesn't have to. Another thing, grateful, being grateful every single day of your life for what you have. Take a journal, write down your dreams, because you get messages in your dreams. But start every single day with a grateful heart and a grateful pen, and start writing. Let the words flow from your mouth, from your heart out your mouth, of what you're grateful for. This window, there's a hummingbird drinking right in front of me, and it doesn't know me. And beyond, there's a bird feeder. I feed my birds every day, and I feed the squirrels. I feed them peanuts. but allow yourself to be grateful, and you tell the divine, call in your spiritual team when you have a need. The angels surround you. Your spiritual team, your guides and your ancestors are there to help you, but they're not going to just help you. You must ask them to help you, and they will do it in a hot second, and you will see it. If you're quiet and look around you for things to match that grateful heart of yours, things will come your way. Just look out there. You'll see what I mean. You'll see something in front of you, and instead of thinking, oh my gosh, that's weird right now that happened. Nothing weird about it. It's happening all the time around us. So this has been a long one, but I had to speak this out to you guys. If I can help somebody, I want to help anybody that is afraid to leave a situation where they're numb with fear. You must believe in yourself, because we're all created in God's image. He's a piece of us as we are a piece of Him. You can do it. You fight trying until you do it. Keep on keeping on. You can do whatever you want to do. You stop yourself with your beliefs. If you say, I can't, then you can't. But if you start changing your perspective, it's how you look at things. Stop worrying about what other people think. That is one of the most debilitating and crippling things, is to allow the world to dictate. As we allow I'm sorry, I jump from story to story, I'm passionate. But when we allow things like this COVID thing that blew way out of proportion, there are still places that are demanding that you wear a mask. I don't wear a mask if I can help it. Yes, my kids and I got COVID after all this time. We got it. But my daughter works in the hearing aid office where I get my hearing aids. She comes in contact with a lot of people. She wears a mask in there. But it's going to spread. It's going to happen. And stress is going to fuel it. And fear. As long as you are afraid, it's going to fuel it. My son works at the veterinary office. So it's going to happen. And it happened to us. And guess what? We took care of each other. We lived. We've lived. I've lived to tell the tale. I'm right here. Do not let fear hold you back. And be real. I've said this before. Being genuine and being authentic with no ulterior motives, no hidden agenda. Be who you are. And you will do what you need to do. Don't allow it to stop you. Be your own force of nature. That is what my YouTube channel is about. Being who you were designed by the divine to be. And helping people. Write your book, paint your pictures, sing your songs, come from your heart space and creatively deliver the message that you have to people. Only you can stop you. You got something to say, something to sing, something to paint, something to write. Create it and put it out there. I hope I've helped somebody today. I hope that somebody watches this video and gets something about it. Please feel free to let me know. No, I don't sit and peruse the comments. I don't, because I'm not doing this to see what somebody's going to say, what somebody's going to think. I'm doing this for the sake of it, putting it out there because my heart is telling me to. It's telling me to share my message in hopes of helping somebody or somebodies more than one. Okay? I will be back with another message. I come on and I don't plan these ahead of time. I do it when it comes from my heart space. That's when I know the divine is talking to me. I send love and blessings to all of you, and you all can do it sooner than later. Peace out.